Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Authenticity. Today, I will be playing a very worried ticked off chicken. I'm joined by the fantastic, the fantastical, the infamous.
I like the infamy part. That is accurate. Hello, my name is Dude Kieran. I'm going to be playing probably the one that's causing the concern, Eenie, Miney and Mo. If you don't know what's going on here, you may want to listen to 3-Point Fracture. That will explain a few things. But just know that boys are no longer in their current residence and probably haven't spoken to DOC for a bit. They have been a little AWOL.
They left town without a note.
Yeah. I mean, they left Crystal. No, they didn't leave Crystal a note, huh? Yeah, no, they didn't leave a note. Why would they leave a note
just
for
jumped
TOC?
out the window like, sayonara.
Yeah, why would they leave a note for TOC? Why would TOC need to know where they're going? Like, they don't live in TOC. Shrug. They've got other things to do.
Chicken noises. Chicken noises intensify.
Alright.
God, so let me ask you, what role would it be to start out with?
Find them?
Yes, because this chicken is just going to go make sure that one, their boys are fine, and two, like, possibly cuss them out for being like, yeah, no one needs to know where we're going.
Alright, so this depends on a few things. Are you going to start tracking from Crystal's apartment, or are you just gonna go? Like, from your house? I suppose it depends on how much
they're going to...
How much are you going to be looking for signs of them before you actually head out? Checking newspapers and things like that.
Yeah, they'd probably take a look around Crystal's apartment after putting her to bed, basically.
Alright, roll me an investigation first then. And depending on how well you do on
fantastic.
that... Depending on how well you do in that, depends on how well you get to do in your survival. Or whether you get advantage.
Okay.
Oh,
that
no?
would be a 2.
Yep, nah, you ain't got much clue. You're a chicken, mate. You're not a tracker. Again, it's just the broken nest, the stuff you cleaned up before, and there's no note and there's no track of them. I mean, the window's locked. I don't know if Crystal told you about how they get in and out of her apartment, but window's locked, so you can't tell anything from that. Yeah. I think, man, I don't think you would actually know, except for the fact that they're probably rangers, so you would just have to assume they're probably in the wilderness somewhere. That's all you can
yes, the wilderness.
Yes, the great yonder.
TSC thinks about the last time they were completely alone in the wilderness. Yep, okay.
This made this decision. POC chose to do this without any help, without Crystal or anyone. They're going off on their own.
Yeah, they're a big kid now. Yep, Jesus. They're like, already this is a poor idea. They can feel physically what a bad idea this is. Here they go.
Concern overrides common sense. So, survival time, I suppose. Let's see.
Will it be survival from them?
Yes, it will be survival, because you are trying to find them.
Okay, actually, okay. Why the fuck do they have such good survival?
Because they're feral. Even so, that's
still 13.
It's average. You tell me, where does TOC start off?
I think probably like the surrounding area of Toontown. Like they're just looking for, like they start off down the road and then they turn off the path and they just start, looking for signs of, they didn't know, three heads? Fuck.
I mean, you don't see three heads. You do hear talks of people seeing someone jumping from rooftop to rooftop. That does have three heads. Heading straight out of town. Seemingly heading towards like hillocks nearby. Like you were seen going through the woods, and you've heard talk of, oh, they tend to go up in like the hillocks nearby, and it's a little, there's like an odd little snowstorm going on around there at the moment, and they're just like, I don't know why they're going up there, but yeah, at least they're not running on the rooftops around Down anymore, right?
Stressed Kermit chicken. But I guess they'll head to the Hilletsmen. They, like, they don't really have a coat or anything. They have a couple sweaters, but it's fine.
Are you
This'll
going
be fine.
sweaterless? Are you going sweaterless?
No, they'll layer up. They've like they're doing the thing where it's like sweater over sweater over sweater, and then they've got like a leather vest.
Okay, all right. So, okay, with that 13, then you head off through the woods, the hillocks, and you kind of, you can't tell there's a trail anywhere, but you do know the general direction of where these hills and things are. So you make your way there, and as you climb up these hillocks, it starts to get from hillocks to like kind of like step range. So it's like you go up a hill, there's another hill, and you slowly climb up that, and there's like an even steeper hill, and it's just slowly gets steeper and steeper and steeper. And you want to roll me a con save?
Sure.
Because as you're getting higher and higher, it's getting chillier and chillier, but you're doing all right. You're layered up. You're doing all right. Your feet are a little cold because you haven't, covered up your feet.
They
And
have no boots. They are a chicken.
you're a chicken. You have no booties. You do not have chicken booties. And you're just. I will say you're not making a lot of progress though, because you've laid up so much, and you are just a round little chicken. Trying to hop up these steep slopes. Do you want to roll me athletics to see how well you're handling that?
Sure.
Because I know what your strength is.
Net 20.
Net 20. You're making progress. You're determined to find these boys. They have clucked you right off. You are not slowing down, even if your feetsies are getting a wee bit cold. And as you keep climbing, it gets colder and colder and colder. And man, your footsies are starting to get real cold. It's starting to get a little hard to bend your little cheeky feet. And you can feel them starting to shake a little bit as you start climbing up, and it's starting to creep up your legs. Do you want to roll me another con save at disadvantage?
Sure.
It's starting to get to the point where it's plateauing, where you're going up. These hills are high, and the wind is rough. And damn, that's still a 15. Whew. Even if that's a 15, and the winds are blowing cold, frigid air at you, and it's not winter time anymore, so it's not incredibly snowy, but you can feel with the temperature rises, the temperature lowers as you drop, and the winds get harsher, and your legs are starting to shake just a little bit as you climb up and climb up and climb up, and it's starting to get a little more difficult to breathe because it's thinning. You didn't know there was. It's kind of weird because these were supposed to be hillocks, right? They're not supposed to be mountains anywhere near Toontown, as far as you know. It's supposed to be just like hills and trees and forests, but it feels like you're kind of going up a mountain. And it's a struggle. Is there anything else you wanted to roll?
They're just like, this might as well happen. Could they roll survival to see if they can find any sign of the ones that they're tracking?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Oh, Discord, come on. Okay, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Well, you look around, and there is a thin layer of snow and lots of shale. It's starting to get more mountainous, more cold as you make your way up this now no longer hillock. Now this is definitely a mountain. You don't know how you got here. You don't know where this is. This should not be near Toontown, but shrug, I guess it is. And
this might as well happen.
Yeah, you do see some signs of this area having been frequented. You see deer trails, you see little rabbits, you see footsteps of a creature you really can't identify. But you do kind of see it's faint, like old tracks. You do see the faint what's the word? Five-toed footprints of a familiar creature, perhaps.
They will follow the tracks.
Cool. With that 20, I'll just let you follow the tracks. You follow the tracks, and as you're following them along, let me just quickly roll something. I need to find it first. Give me just a moment. Where are you? I'm trying to find. There we go. That's what I wanted. Where's your thingy diggy? Wanna roll me a perception, dear?
Oh, sure. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You can hear this. You notice immediately. You hear a noise coming from everywhere around you, and the wind whips up a flurry of snow very, very quickly. And you want to roll me another con save at disadvantage, please?
Sure. 23.
Okay.
This is a rugged little chicken.
This chicken's tough, man. You manage to stand. You squint your eyes, but you don't flinch away from this snow. You don't flinch away from this wind. You're making your way through it. You're tough. You're a tough bird. You face worse than a freaking snowstorm and a wind. You're making your way through. What you don't notice is the way you're going. You want to roll me a perception at disadvantage?
Sure.
Let's see if I can get this chicken. So far, oh my god, chicken! This chicken's rolling too well!
25.
God. Okay, with 25, 26, yeah, no. You do see this. You see you're coming up towards a ridge of some sort. You can only just notice it through the wind whipping and the snow whirling around you, but there is a slightly darker space in front of you, and that looks like some kind of drop. And there does seem to be like a slight differently coloured bit of ground. Might be a ledge, might be, don't know what that is.
Okay, they're going to take out their pitchfork and stand well back and prod it.
You prod it, and you just hear that of snow and ice being scraped.
Is there room to walk around it?
I mean, it's on the edge of this very dark, gaping ridge that you presume is there because it's just like a void. You can't see what's down it. Yeah, there is a space that seems to slant down the side of this ridge.
They could make their way safely down it.
Safely? Question mark. There is a way down.
They'll take it.
Alright.
They've made it this far.
Cool. Roll me a dex save at disadvantage, please.
Sure.
Because your chicken is rolling incredibly high.
heavens.
Alright, I'll take it. You use your pitchfork to kind of like test the way before you head down, but unfortunately, as you poke your way forward, I imagine you just like poke the path before you before moving forward, and then poke again. Unfortunately, you poke at a bit of the ledge, and you hear and that comes from both ahead of you and behind you, and the wind picks up, and you hear and the section of ledge you're on collapses, and
Cool.
you see you fall down this ridge, and the snow and wind have picked up, and it's blowing flurries around you, and you can't see. You're going peak over tail, as it were, and you hold onto your pitchfork, I will ask.
They will, although I will say that if they do drop it, and perhaps there should be a roll for it, unless it gets like stuck somewhere, it will eventually wind up back in their hammer space.
That's fine. I mean, it's up to you. If you want to drop it, if you want to try and do something with it, because currently you're falling. If you want to do one thing before you fall, you can do.
Could they roll athletics to try to like kind of ice pick with it into the side of the ledge?
Yes, you can try. You can try.
All right. And athletics. That's a nat one.
Yeah.
This person is like, nope.
You fling you're turning you're turning beak over tail feathers. You're trying to find some purchase somewhere, and you fling your pitchfork in where you think the wall is. That's not the wall. That's straight down into the ravine, and you just hear it and disappear. And see, you've lost your pitchfork. You've lost your only bit of leverage that may have allowed you to scrape potentially against the side of this ravine, but you're too far away from the walls now. You're just plummeting. And see, you hit something, and then you conk out.
I think their last thought is that, well, if they're gonna die again, there are worse reasons.
Cool. Okay, you conk out, and let me just roll. I've rolled that. Okay, cool. You conk out. You don't know how long you're out for. You probably think this is your second death. This is it. This is how you go. Climbing up a hillock that turned into a mountain that turned into a snowstorm that, man, this is, well, at least you did it for someone you cared about, huh?
They're actually much higher than 2, but never mind.
Oh, man, I can imagine. Yeah, you think you're dead, you think you passed out, and then you wake up, and
also not unexpected.
I mean, this isn't the first time you've died. Sometimes when you die, you just come back. It happens, you know? Shrug your shoulders. Nothing new to you. Do you want to roll me a perception?
Although, can I? Could I roll 2 different perceptions with 2 different stats? Because if they are in as bad a way as I think they were, then someone would be alerted in case they need to come fix the chicken.
Cool. Ah, yes. Understood. Go ahead.
Okay, so that would be. Okay.
Nat 20 on that last one there. No. Yeah, no, Nat 20 on that last one. Damn.
Yup.
I know what that is.
So, okay, they'll be showing up at some point during this next scene. But that's a 21 for the chicken.
Cool. You wake up and you look around and you don't know where you are. It's light coming from in front of you and you're warm. You're covered in something soft, not cold. Again, very warm. Soft, warm, something. But if you look around, you see, you think you're in like a box of ice. No, wait, this isn't ice. Ice would be cold. And you would be warm. And if you like look at it, that's plastic. You're in plastic. And you're very close. Not very close, decently close to a small fire crackling. Looks like what's the word? Just like a little fire. And you look around, and you're in like a small cave. You're far enough away, like at least about 10 foot away from. You can now see the raging snowstorm going on outside. You cannot see past that. It is furious. It's just a wall, a sheet of snow and ice and cold. And you see there's seems to be like a little pebbles and things scattered around here. Not an awful lot. It just seems to be mostly the fire. And a small and new and pebbles formed in a strange little shape. There's not much else going on in here. And I'm gonna roll some of these now. Come on. How you doing? Oh, no. I'm dismissing that. I'm dismissing that last one. No, thank you. He's taking all the good rolls. Okay.
I mean, they did get a nat one somewhere in there.
They did. But I'm just looking away from that particular nat one because no. But you will. Let me just. Yeah, no. With that. That 21 for perception, you said.
Yes.
Okay. With that 21 for perception, you will hear something over the whipping winds and howling gale and flurries of snow and ice from outside, wherever the heck you are in this cave. You will hear some voices. You can't quite make out what voices are or what they're saying, but there's some voices coming towards you.
I think at first they just like snuggle back into the blankets like, okay. In terms of unexpected twists of fate today, this is not the worst one. However, like they've got the go back to bed emotion. They don't want to deal with this. But they should. So I think that they sort of like spill out of the little Tupperware, like kind of like a cat. And they just sort of like plump on the ground. Okay. They stand up.
As you plump on the ground and stand up, if you look back at the Tupperware box, you will see on the side, your name's written on it.
Oh, wonderful.
And you will hear, coming further towards you, like, oh, it should be fine. I'm frozen, come on! And they just see coming through the wind and the ice and the hail and the snow, a dark, tall shape coming towards you.
They just take a second and just breathe. Because they have been through all of that. I think the reason why they kept getting so many good rolls is because they were worried. They didn't know what they were going to find up there, and the fact that what they found was them okay is you're just gonna breathe.
Okay. And as you sit there and you breathe next to the warm fire and the cold floor, I will say the floor is damn chilly. Because again, cave, it's not made of ice. It is like a stone cave, but whew, chilly. And you see these tall figures coming towards you, and yeah, you recognize this. You recognize them. How could you not recognize this tall, intimidating, but incredibly goofy three-headed creature coming towards you? And as you do, they Then you hear them say, right, okay, so why the heck were they up here anyway? Probably might be looking for us. They wouldn't be looking for us. Why would they be looking for us? Yeah, no, it's not anything to look for us. Besides, Crystal probably would have told them where we went, or at least we weren't there. And coming through the snowstorm, you see Miney and Mo reach through the wind and the cold with something in Miney's mouth, and you just see them. I'm gonna roll perception. What's your perception, lads? I don't think it's very high. No, it isn't. Excellent. You kind of look around, and you see them just crouch down and shake all of the snow and ice and stuff off. And look at the fire and squint, and then look around, and they're just like, right, okay, I don't think they're awake yet. Oh, well, we put as many blankets as we could. We didn't have many left over. Right, hang on, let's try and stoke this thing up then. And they just seem to come over with you now recognise that's a bundle of twigs in their mouth. You don't know where they got them. There weren't any trees that you could see around here. And they just go towards a fire and start stacking it up and sit down and just put their 1 foot out at a time next to the fire and wiggle their toes about and just I don't know what the heck they were doing up here, but well, they might wake up soonish, you know. Let's hope they actually do, you know. As much as annoying as it can be for them to nag, I'd rather they not actually turn into a frozen chicken. Yeah, no, frozen chicken is not ideal in this particular stage. And they're just going to sit down by the fire and warm their tootsies. They don't seem to have noticed you.
I think that they're just going to also sit near the fire and just sort of wait for them to be noticed. And actually, could you have them roll a perception check?
Absolutely, I will roll a perception again.
And it's not to look for TFC, because I know that they've already done that.
That's an 8. That's an 8.
8. There's absolutely no one out there.
Fantastic. I feel like it's Mo who tips his head back and says, "Well, it's a good thing that Frost Salamander didn't notice us." Oh, fucking sake, no, absolutely fantastic, very good job. I mean, Frost Salamanders not wise to take on by ourselves, lads. I mean, I know we are pretty good when it comes to certain things, but yeah, we never got really we didn't get good training when it comes to salamanders and ice in general. And you kind of just see them shiver as they sit closer to the fire. Yeah, no, I think it's isolated up here, but ice and us. Well, yeah, it's not exactly our preferred terrain, is it, lads? No, but it's. And they kind of just look down at the fire. It's it's a way, isn't it? It's it's training, resistance. It's good to build up a resistance to this sort of thing.
There's a long moment of silence. Hello?
Hello, yes, I'm still here.
Hi, sorry.
No, you're good.
I think that if they're gonna take a second, just stare into the fire, I think there's a long moment of silence. And TAC is going to move out of melee range, and then they're going to clear their little chicken throat.
Cool. Let me roll this.
Because they remember the last time they spooked these boys, a bastard showed up.
Excellent. You see all three of them just kind of flex heads up, look in your direction. That was a whiz save. They're not pretty good. And I will say, as you're looking at them now, I forgot to mention this as they came in. Miney's mohawk has little icicles dangling from it. Mo's head is essentially just the hair is just encased in little snowflakes and ice shards. And Enie's head, there's like an icy ring around where their silver ring usually is, and their head is like laying down near the fire and shivering because, whew, I need to defrost that real quick. And three of them kind of turn towards you and say, "Ah, Pecky Nick, you're awake! You're dead! Excellent! Sorry, Eenie, you're not going to be eating this one. I wasn't going to eat them, for feck's sake!" And they're all very clearly relieved. You are awake. And I'm going to roll a medicine check. Because they're just gonna, you're right there, you're right there, TOC. You looked a bit, well, you apparently, took a bit of a tumble down there, and, I mean, chickens can sort of do that flappy floaty thing, but, yeah, you fell, I think you fell down the ravine or something. There was a bit of, shards of, rock and stuff around you. I mean, looked up to the path, and, well, that thing crumbled like heck, so we're gonna have to find another way out and find you another way down the ravine. But Pecky Nick, we haven't actually explored this whole place yet, so that's gonna be an interesting way. But also, what are you doing out of your box? You should be back in your box. And they're gonna try and roll a strength to manhandle you back into your nest.
I think that this time they will just sort of let them.
Okay. Well, they do very gently just kind of like nudge you. Like Mo picks up the Tupperware box and drags it towards them, not super close to the fire, but close enough, like kind of next to Enie's head. So Enie's head is next to the Tupperware box, and then Miney just kind of like gently nudges you into the box, and then so it's sitting upright, and they kind of lean in and just readjust all of the blankets and such around you. And hell yeah, that's what I wanted. And whilst Miney and Mo are doing that, they do kind of like absent-mindedly like start like it. You don't think they've done this before, which is kind of weird. They do start like slightly preening your feathers, and they're just like, right, okay, next time you actually need to go like out adventuring and stuff, don't do it without somebody with you, would you? Just, I mean, we've got each other, so we know what we're doing, but just like, don't go wandering up down into big icy places by yourself, especially like a tiny chicken, mate. You just took a tumble. Yes, kindly don't do that again, TOC. You might be like a tough old bird as you think you are, but still, it's cold up here, mate. And they're just hitting you. They don't seem to have noticed that.
I think that like whenever they're in range, like they preen whatever head's closest back. Like they chip away at the ice.
They do not notice. They are again busy tucking the blankets around you and just hitting the few feathers that they see that are out of place or look a bit ruffled up. And they're just muttering to themselves.
Yeah, they I think that they do like shuffle so that they can still sign out of the blankets. And they actually they pull out their notebook and they look at it and they look at Eenie, Miney, and Mo. They sigh. I think they actually write, could you boys do me a favor? There will be someone waiting outside. Could you go get them for me?
They kind of pause and pull back from their preening and look at you and like, what? Wait, oh, you did bring someone with you. Oh, right, okay, so... Oh,
no, they followed.
You've been followed? And at that, Eenie kind of like pokes their head up from the fire and looks at you and say, what do you mean you've been followed? Wait, hang on, were you being chased? Are you POC, are you being chased by someone? Is there like a fugitive or someone out there? Do we need to? And they just start to stand up and they're gonna roll these.
No, don't fight them.
It's too late. It's too late. Eenie and Mo have reached into their ruffs around the neck, and you hear like a shh, shh, as they both pull out their swords. And Miney has got a very come on, insight if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
17.
Okay. Hermione has you haven't seen this look on their face before. They have gone from being like incredibly goofball funny. This is the most serious you've ever seen them. Like Eenie, Miney, and Mo aren't doing like that happy, smiley, goofy thing. They are dead serious right now as they kind of like stand in front of you. In fact, they're just gonna like very slowly move you around to the opposite side of the fire, one furthest away from the entrance. And they're just gonna leave you there and say, "Stay there, stay down, get yourself covered. We'll handle this." And they turn around.
Boys, no, it's
listening.
fine.
They are not listening as they're going towards the entrance. And not going to cross the. They're going to stand like 5 foot away from the entrance. They're not going to go outside, because they are in serious actual battle mode. But Miney's going to call out, all right, I don't know who you are, and I don't know what you want with TOC, but if you want to get to him, you're going to have to get through us, and we're going to put up a heck of a fight.
Gosh, this keeps happening.
I look towards Trinity. I look away.
God, I think that there's just there's a muffled somehow over the roaring winds you hear a sigh. And could you give me someone from Eenie, Miney and Mo's past? Could be anyone at all.
Okay, let me just see if I've got an image. I might have to do a bit of digging, but give me a moment. So someone from their past, you could have someone that found them when they were first appeared. Sorry, give me a second. I'm just trying to find images for people listening to audio. I've drawn them and they're here somewhere, but I don't know where they are because they're buried in somewhere. Come on, I know you're in here. I know you're in here. I'm so sorry, people listening. I'm trying to draw through my art and it's just I can't find them. They're in here. There we are.
Gently fit.
I found them. Okay, hang on. This person. They are someone that found them. The first person that found them, actually, in the ruins that they popped up in. This is the person that was in charge of basically training them, making sure that they understood the rules of their guild, and making sure that they were all right. They basically brought them from rookie to and helped them advance through the ranks. This is Grusaro, and for people listening, Grusaro is they're a Gramble, a Pokemon XP, which is a purple bulldog with great tusks, floppy ears, a thick black choker with iron studs around the neck, and around their wrists are similar kind of wrist braces with similar studs. Thick black leather with iron studs.
Well, the person that steps into sight is definitely not Grusaro. The coloring is wrong. The braces are a different style. Just the way that they hold themselves is completely different. But it looks a hell of a lot like it. Like if they're trying to disguise themselves as Grusaro, they've failed. It's not a good likeness, but it is quite a bit like him.
Give me a second, I'm just rolling. Okay.
Oh boy.
Continue.
What roll was that?
With save.
Cool.
Because fun fact about Eenie, Miney and Mo, because of a past experience in the past couple years, things that appear like something they shouldn't, or things that are disguised as something else, tweak them very badly. And immediately your POC from your position from around the fire, you're gonna see these birds bristle. Their fluffy hide is just gonna point big and as fluffy as they can. They are fluffing up like a cat. And if they were a cat, you'd imagine their back arching. Instead of their back, it's their necks arching back like a swan about to strike.
Oh, great.
And you might even hear like a slight hiss coming from Miney as they say, "We don't know who the heck you are, but you're gonna want to drop that right now, matey."
And the not Grusaro person tilts their head and takes a step to the side, and if they're trying to look like Crystal, they have failed. But it looks very much like her.
Oh, that's even worse. I'm sticking with that whiz save. Actually, I'm gonna roll 2 more just to see if I can get lower. And if
Oh
I
boy.
don't, I am just gonna stick with what I got. Well, no. No. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll stick with that 4. I'll go with that 4. They just hear Miney just kind of. Nice picking try, mate. Don't try and fool yourself, yeah? We know she's not up here. We know she's back home, safe and comfy, wanting nothing to do with us. So how about you drop your guises, show us who you really are, and face us like an actual opponent instead of hiding like a coward behind faces that aren't yours.
I'm afraid I have no face of my own anymore.
Well, that's
But I'm
perfectly.
here to see TOC.
Oh, we don't care what you want to see TOC about, quite frankly. And you hear the slight thinking as Mo and Eenie readjust their swords in their mouth. And again, their heads rear back and arch. They are very ready to strike. And Miney continues, we don't care what you're here to talk to TOC about or what you want with them. They do. We ain't going to let you through if you're going to cause them any harm, matey. They've been through a bit, and they don't need more people chasing them down.
I'm not going to harm the chicken.
I'm going to roll insight.
In fact, I'm here to make sure that they don't need fixing.
18. So
18 for wisdom save?
No, that was an insight.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see what this creature being means, and if they're trustworthy enough.
Actually, yeah, you don't get any hostile intent. Maybe a little bit of impatience, definitely no fear. But also this is not unexpected. Um, actually, with an 18, you might get a little bit of worry over the vehemence of your reaction to the fact that they're disguised, but you don't get any sort of like honestly, it you think they're telling the truth.
Okay. Are they still disguised not quite like Crystal? Do you want to roll me an
I
insight?
think that
Oh, sorry.
roll you an insight, sure.
If you're still disguised as Crystal, if not, then you don't have to.
22.
Okay. You can see that these boys are looking at you. They are incredibly upset. Kind of like, gosh, how do I put this? They're upset. They're pissed off. They see the swords kind of trembling in Eenie and Mo's mouth. You think that they absolutely want to protect TOC and they are ready to fight you for it, but the way you're looking right now, you don't think they'll be able to strike you looking like this.
Is there any disguise that would put them at ease, or is it just a lost battle?
It's probably a lost battle, honestly, because it's the thing. It's not that there's any face you can wear that will make them feel better. It's the fact that you have a face that isn't yours, that you don't have there isn't a true thing, that you don't look like yourself. If you take a form that they don't recognize, they might feel at ease because they won't know that's not what you look like. Or if you
I
try,
think that they.
I mean, if you maybe
Go
try
on.
and explain, if you maybe try and explain to them that they can take, you can take a guise that isn't, you literally can't have anyone else. You don't have your own face. But
I think that they tilt their head at them, still looking quite a bit like Crystal, and they go, "You'll have to excuse me. This might hurt your head." And they take a step back, and you can still see them. Like, they haven't gone invisible, but suddenly they don't look like anyone or anything.
Okay.
And it kind of breaks reality. That's, it's uncomfy.
Do I need to roll another with save?
I'm gonna say a con.
Cool. What did I con that? Okay. Yep. Okay. That's an 11.
Okay, so doesn't feel awesome. Like it is upsetting to look at. You don't like it, but it's better.
Okay. Miney and Eenie and Mo are all just gonna shake their heads, and Miney's just gonna hiss, and shake their heads to the side, and just heck. And I mean, I know you see it in my face, but I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. And they just shake their head and like, all right, you don't have a face for yourself, and honestly, looking at you right now is making me see things I don't think I really should be looking at. So, and they just step away from the entrance and kind of shuffle back, like they're not looking directly at you, but they're not looking away from your direction. Like Miney is just looking slightly to the side of you and not directly at you as they step back towards TOC, and they don't sit down, but they do crouch near them, like on one side of them, and they say, you're here to help them, fine. Come here. However, you make one wrong picky move, and we're going to run a sword through you so gosh dang quickly, we may as well have you as a spit over the fire. Yeah?
They step in, and now that they're actually close enough to TOC, I think that they as they step, they start to go back to Crystal, and then like stop, and like you can see them forcibly move away from that form into that of a little toon girl with curly black hair and roses on her dress. And they bow their head to Eenie, Miney, and Mo, and they look at the chicken, and the chicken looks at them, and the chicken goes, in sign language, "What the fuck did you do?" And the dead god goes, "I didn't do anything. I just showed up here." And
Eenie, Miney, and Mo, their heads were kind of not. Heads were kind of like back. They weren't hovering over TOC or anything. They were just sitting the other side. With that, heads kind of come forwards and not crowd, but they hover over the top of TOC. They're not shoving you down. Their necks are tall enough that they're not hovering too closely over you, so you can't move. But you get the shadows of their heads and necks cast over you as they just kind of make a little archway over the top of you as this thing comes closer.
Yeah, TOC like cranes their head back, and they go, "What the fuck did you do to them?" And they went, "I didn't do anything to them. I showed up here. Why on earth were you climbing a mountain in this time of the year?" And THC signs back, "Never you fucking mind. I'm fine." And the dead god is about to reply, and they sort of catch themselves, and they go, "Excuse our manners. I am the dead god. I'm an old friend." TC scoffs a little bit, but they stand still as the dead god sort of plunks himself down and starts looking them over. They like sort of like almost like invisible heartstrings over them. They pluck at the air and like move things. You can be as close to them as they want. If they need one of the heads to move, they'll gently ask.
So you sit down, and the minute you sit down, you feel two things hover over your shoulders? Question mark. By things I mean swords.
Mm-hmm.
Eenie and Mo have put their sword right up to your neck, and Miney is looking directly at you. They are not taking their eyes off of you as you do this.
Mm. They don't pause their work, but they look up and they go, if it were that easy to kill me, everyone's lives would be much simpler.
It's not going to stop us from trying, though, is it? So, work as you do in a game. I'm sure you I can assure you that we'll follow through if needs be.
Mm. They look at TAC and they go, why are all of your kids like this?
What?
And TAC makes a noise.
We're not their kids. We don't have parents. We don't need parents. We aren't their kids. And Miney looks between Mo and Eenie and just we know each other, but we're not our parents. We don't
They
have
look at the
parents.
chicken. They look at the taller three-headed chicken. Okay. They go back to work.
Miney, Eenie, Miney, and Mo just Miney and Eenie and Miney narrow their eyes. Mo just readjusts their grip on their sword, and they just watch you as you work.
Mm. And eventually they sit up again and they go, okay, well, doesn't look like you actually died, except maybe for a second or two, so good job on that. You're making progress.
Eenie, Miney, and Mo just tense up. Like, what do you... Okay, hang on. What the heck do you mean actually died? And what do you mean for just a second or two?
It's fine. It's much better than the first time.
No. Actually, I don't think that's particularly fine. And they're just gonna reach out one of their feet and poke their god in the chest and slowly scooch them backwards, like shh, across the cave floor and say, excuse you, just a pecking second. Dying and then coming back ain't exactly what's the word, lads? Okay. I can't hear you. You got your mouths full, lads. They just snap their finger like, okay, that's the word. Okay, it's not okay to die and come back multiple times, even if it's just for a second. It's what we in the business would call a concern.
They look at TUC sort of meaningfully, and TUC looks back at them like, shut the fuck up.
They look down and they glare at you. They're not shutting up.
No, it's TUC at the dead god.
Dead god. Okay, cool.
Sorry, I'm holding a conversation with you, but also with myself, and it's not working.
Dude, I shake your hand. I have these three doing that all the time. I pat you and I understand.
I have to assume that THC has not told you about how we met. And they cross around to the other side of the fire. And they just sit down, sort of like they're going to be there for a little bit.
Eenie, Miney, and Mo. I'm gonna make this. Okay, cool. Miney kind of glares across the fire, and then he looks at Eenie and Mo, nods his head, and they nod back, and they just put their swords gently down on the floor with not with a clatter, just a little tink. They haven't put the back of their hammer space. They're in the floor within reach. And they all look back at you and say, okay, so you're not, you hunted down TOC, apparently because they died or something, and this isn't the first time this has happened then. And they kind of shuffle, and they sit down on their haunches proper, still hovering over TOC, by the way. They have still hovering over you and looking at the creature across them from the fire. And, yeah, they are looking for answers right now.
I didn't hunt them down. Gods rarely have to hunt anyone down. But when they manage to do enough damage to themselves, I like to ensure that my hard work has not come for naught. Let's just say that.
You can practically hear the gears grinding above Eenie, Money, Mo's head, like. I'm trying to think. Mo's gonna kind of lead down to TOC, and he's just like, "You alright, fella? We have no idea who the pick this other stranger fella is, but are you alright? Are you safe?"
TAC writes in their notebook, I don't think they can actually hurt me. They're fine. They're just extremely irritating and ominous. I'm sure they didn't mean to scare you three.
Mo's just gonna slowly nod his head. Just like, right, okay, so they just naturally have a creepy vibe then? Is that what you're trying to get across? Just a natural creeper, excellent. Oh, fantastic.
TFC chuckles in their throat at that. And the dead god goes, I said I was sorry.
I mean, you can say you're sorry. They're still going to change the fact you're creepy as peck, mate.
They shrug. Fair enough. But they look at the chicken and they go, how much have you told them? And TUC sort of shrugs sullenly.
They're just going to sit back on their haunches and, well, as far as we know about TOC, apparently they think they're a very tough bird. They refuse to fight us, because apparently they'd, kick our legs all the way across, Inkwell. And, we didn't know the part about the dying. Apparently they have a lot of children and they think, and they just, Eenie stops and just, they have many children. That's as far as we know. They have a lot of children. They're very, very, very tough, apparently. Miney rolls his eyes. And, they care a lot.
The dead god smiles at the last, and they go, I suppose I should thank you. I wanted them to be tough. That was what they asked for.
It's up a little bit of that. I mean, I don't know why you're thinking us for that, and I don't know why you'd want to be. Actually, no, scratch that. Of course, you want to be tough. You wouldn't want to be tough. Being tough is very important, after all. If you're going to go out exploring in the wilderness, you're going to need to know how to fight back and stuff. That's a very, very, very important skill. They just nod their heads, and they're like, wait, hang on. Is that why you came climbing up? You thought you were tough enough to take the mountain on? For yourself. Even we're not silly enough to do that. We do it because we got each other. And we can cover each other's backs, but you are just a little chicken by yourself. Not just go up a mountain by yourself. It's a foolish thing to do, you know. And they're just going to berate you. They're berating you, chicken.
Yeah, THC is just like they are too cold and too done to like put up any defense. Like if they'll bring up the fact that like there was not supposed to be a mountain here later.
Eenie, money. Oh, go ahead.
But I think the dead god will very patiently wait for them to subside, and they go, if they have not told you the story, then I believe you have a right to it.
Sorry, could you repeat that last bit again?
If they have not told you their story, I at least believe you have a right to it.
Eenie, Miney, Mo kind of look at each other and shift a bit. Roll an insight if you want, both of you.
Sure.
There seems to be a lot of looks being passed between the three heads at the minute.
19 and a 29.
Excellent, you both get this. So 19, DOC. Yeah, you can kind of tell. I want to know Also, they don't really want to like trespass on your privacy. Again, it's like finding out from someone else's information is. I mean, if it's a villain or something, that's different because they're doing crimes and you need that information to hunt them down and catch them and stuff. But this is like you're like an acquaintance of theirs, you know? Like they don't want to know stuff unless you want to tell them stuff. That's generally how people work. Share information when you want, kind of deal. I mean, definitely curious, but again, it's a battle of wills here. God, you see this, and you also see as they're all looking at each other, you see Mo is just kind of looking away, and kind of looking into the fire a bit. And despite the fact that they are very close to the fire, they haven't been outside for a bit. You see Mo's starting to shiver a little bit as they talk about, or at least I talk about, kind of finding out about things like that through other people. Mo seems a little uncomfortable with that.
I think TUC looks up at the dead god and nods, and they sign. I trust them. I don't know if they are my family yet, but I would like to be theirs. And the dead god pays attention to this, watches, no?
Continue. Don't worry about that nat 20, continue.
Mm.
They always roll nat 20s on this! Continue.
And the dead god, obviously they look at them, and once they have permission, they look back at the boys.
Well, the boys kind of look back at TOC, and, well, I mean, if you give them permission to say it, we're not going to listen to it. It would be a bit of a disservice and a bit of a snub to be like, oh no, we want you to tell us when you're ready. Yeah, that could be kind of insulting, especially if you've given someone else permission to say information. Also, you kind of fell down a cliff into the snow, and apparently you died, so you got the spoons for it. That's fair. And you're gonna kind of shuffle in place a little. I'm gonna roll those insights. You can tell they kind of want to do something. They shuffle like a little bit closer to you, TOC. Basically right up against the box. You can feel the thick feathers of theirs just kind of like really pressing against the side of the box. You can probably feel the heat coming off of them. And they look back towards the dead god and nod and say, "All right then. If it's story time, then you better make it a good one because we've heard some fair stories and we tell some fair stories. So if this is going to be story time / history, let's see how well you can tell it then." And they just kind of lean back and look at you expectantly.
I think like TUC shuffles around and sort of plumps themselves against the side with Eenie, Miney, and Mo. And they just sort of okay, this is fine. And with that permission, the dead god, sort of they tilt their head, and the light reflects off their eyes, and for a second, you are all reminded that this is probably not what this person really looks like. And then they go, once upon a time, there was a perfectly ordinary chicken and a little girl who they cared for very much. The little girl cared for the chickens and its sisters for as long as she was able. But life is cruel, and the little girl was forced to save the last of her chickens from the fate of its sisters, and she took it deep into the woods. But the wilderness is not kind to chickens. They are not built for it. And although she did her best, the little girl could not save the chicken forever. And as it lay dying, it made a wish that it could be enough, that it could be more than it was, that it could prove itself worthy to the task at hand, that it could be the family that its little girl deserved. And I heard them. And long ago I was a creature that delighted in granting wishes. And I wanted to. And so I did. And they lay where they had fallen for years and years and years, until they were ready to get up. And they did, and they were more. And they would become more than even they were now. And so they set off in search of their girl, and instead they found a family. And that is who you have put in your box.
Whilst you were telling this story, Eenie and Miney were looking at you with rapt fascination. And as you kept talking, Dead God, you have noticed Mo at first was nodding along, but then as you kept talking, their gaze just kind of slowly started to shift to look outside at the wall of cold wind and ice and flurry that blow out there, and you can see Mo's head is still starting to shiver and ache a bit, and they don't seem to be paying much attention. They're more like the words are washing over him compared to the rapt attention of Eenie and Miney. Miney is trying to hide it, but they are intensely curious and nodding their head along slowly. Eenie is paying attention, but as you're talking, they're also looking down at TOC and then back at you and then back down at TOC, and just they seem to be thinking a little deeply about something.
I think the dead god finishes their tale and they start to say something else. And they look at Mo and they go, "Chicken, you're needed." And TOC looks around, looks up. "Oh, for fuck's sake, come here."
Eh? What do you mean, come here?
We're right. Wrong voice.
What do you mean? What do you mean, come here? We're right here anyway. What do you mean, come here? We're right next to you.
Can they pull Mo down to rest in their Tupperware box with them?
Can you reach? Because they're all
gonna
got their heads
try.
up at the moment. And you're down in the Tupperware box, buddy.
Can they almost like you're slinging an arm around someone's neck? Can they reach up and sort of draw the head down by the neck?
Roll me an acrobatics.
Sure.
Fucking. Because they are still. I mean, you're in a Tupperware box and you're chicken sized. They're very large. You can't reach the base of their neck.
15.
With a 15, you can flavour this differently if you want, but I just imagine TOC looks up and goes, "Oh, for peck's sake." Jumps out of their box quickly, wraps all of their wings around the base of Mo's ruff and just drags them down, and it just. Phew! Their neck just kind of. Down into the box with you. Hang on, why am I in the box? Hey, this is your box. I want to be in the box. Stop getting in the box. And Mo's just kind of wiggle their head against that.
Mo, why are you in the box, mate? That's not your box. Mo, get out of there, honestly.
I didn't do it. I'm not supposed to be in here. They bloody pulled me down.
They make little pterodactyl noises at the other two, and they toss a blanket over Mo's head.
Mo's just like, what? I don't know. Why are you thinking? Why are you gonna?
Also, don't screech at us. We'll screech right back at you.
And they just start screeching at you like, and shaking their heads at you, and kind of doing the S shape of their neck as they just squawk at you. Whereas Mo's just like, I don't understand. I mean, alright, I don't get it, but
they're just going to basically, like, lock his head into the blankets by the neck, and then just sort of busily, like, bring the fucking ice out of his hair.
At that, Mo's just gonna stop. Then we're gonna see him from where he was struggling earlier. He just stops and kind of melts a little bit into the blankets, and he's not fighting anymore. He's just gonna be in here. This is the Mo box now. MOTC, MOTC box now. Botox box. Not like the Botox box. That's a different box. But he's just gonna kind of roll his eyes on that. Mo, I don't know why you're in there, but TOC doesn't mind. Just don't make a nuisance of yourself. I'm not being a nuisance. I'm just being in here now, I guess. And while that's going on,
TFC, like, TFC makes eye contact with Eenie, and, like, you know that, like, I'm watching you gesture?
Mm-hmm.
They do that, like, you're next, buddy.
Eenie kind of leans back and just shakes the head like, no, don't you dare. Meanwhile, Miney has been obviously doing that little hissy thing, but whilst they're having this conversation, turning back towards the dead god and say, well, I gotta admit, fella, that's, firstly, heck of a storyteller. You know, force that down a ravine, and call that nuts, but, and he just kind of wince at his word, he's like, okay, I'm hopping a bit too on the beak there, but, anyhow, storytelling, 9 out of 10, perhaps could use with a more, not embellishment, I know you want to stick to the truth, but, you know, more, what's the word? And they lift one of their claws up and clicks their fingers, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Drama.
No, actually, I feel like the drama is an undercurrent in the story you told. It's there and it's present. It's like, you just gave like a little tip, like a niblet, you know? It's just like a little tiny bit. Whereas I feel like there's definitely a lot more going on in that story. It feels more like an introduction than an actual story, if that makes sense. It's more like a prelude. Yes, preludes, that's the word. Yeah, you know what, prelude. It feels more like a prelude than an actual, like an actual story. It feels like just the beginning of one. No? There's a beginning of the story, and then there's a whole story.
They look down at TAC and they go, that is the story. That was their prelude, their prologue, if you will.
No, we get that, and they just nod their heads and look down at TOC. It's like, yeah, we get, you know, that's like your starting thing and everything. We understand that perfectly. We know prologues. We do know prologues. They look like their god. Thing is, like, I don't know. It feels like there's something here that's not there, you know? And they just kind of wave their hand in the air like, I don't know, it seems like in terms of detail, it could be a bit more fleshed out, you know? You know, just a bit more motivation.
You're asking why I helped them.
As you say that, you see them kind of freeze with their hand claw wiggling in the air, and they stop and look at each other. But slightly goofy expression on their face pops, and they're like, right, yeah, it's a point. And they slowly put their foot down. And you both tell, they kind of forgotten this was about TOC. They just thought you were telling a cool story, and they're like, hang on, critique time.
Like, on a close reading.
Sorry?
I said, on a close reading of the text.
Yeah. They just kind of nod and like, yeah, alright, right, okay, yeah. So, for the reason that TOC is not dead then, that's the gist of it.
I was the catalyst, yes.
Miney nods, and Eenie pokes up and says, and you're the reason that they're so resilient.
They run on a few very specific things. My domain, when I was an active god, was time. Long periods of it. which is why it has taken so long for them to fully transform. The other things I took from them. Love. Spite is also a large one. Determination. I am not a god that transmute things easily, so I took what I was able to work with. And none of those things die easily.
That's all insight. When you say love, they tense. All three heads tense. TOC, you can feel Mo tense. And you can hear coming from under the blanket, you took love. And,
No.
Yeah.
I could not take their love. They are made of love. The love that they already had.
Intelligence check. I've not put two and two together. They're just at each other like,
Right, so they're made of love that already. Alright, okay.
and you kind of see the cogs again grinding above Eenie and Miney's head, and you just hear a coming from Mo. They're trying to have a good think about this.
So, right, okay, so they died and then they came back through time and love and what else was there? I think what was it? There was a girl involved and she was like come back for the girl or no, I think they came back for like I think they did come back for the girl, didn't they? No, yeah, they definitely came for that.
And Mo's just kind of peek out from under the blankets and tilt their beak up at TOC. And they're just gonna quietly ask, so is that why you keep coming around and trying to insist we're family then?
And they start to sign at him, and they look at the dead god, like, translate. And the god says, I thought you didn't want me to this time, translate. And they position themselves so that both Mo and the dead god can see what they're signing. And they say to Mo, I consider you family because you are strong and good and have always tried to do right by me. Because you remind me that the world is fun and has kind things in it. Because you are yourselves.
Okay. I'll try this for them. No, re-rolling that. Give me a second. Okay. Cool. Eenie, Miney, Mo are all looking down at you now, TOC. Thank God you are being ignored for the moment.
That's fine. They take a sip of tea from a teacup that they shouldn't have.
Fair enough. I hope it's good tea. I mean, it is good tea. Sipping this good tea. Eenie, Money, Mo are looking down at you. Well, Eenie, Money looking down at you. Mo's looking up at you, and they just look at each other, at you, and they
right. Okay, so it's. I know we're rather an admirable sort of people. Not gonna lie, like we've done a lot, and we're well on our way to being heroes and stuff. It's kind of what we're doing, And I suppose being something of an inspirational figure for you, at least in terms of fun and happiness and living life to your best, I suppose that sort of inspiration is rather the thing that is, look at each other, it is rather the thing that we're hoping to get around, so I suppose that's good confirmation, at least, and they look at each other.
But then you hear a quiet voice come from Mo, and they say,
and as nice as it is, you think we're family or your kids or whatever, I can't.
and at that, Eenie and Miney stop and look down at Mo, and look at each other, and look down at Mo again, and just put their heads down.
As much and as nice as it is for you to think of us as family, it's
And you can roll an insight if you want.
I think I will.
Woo!
Oh, god damn it. Discord, let me see what I rolled.
It's 27. It's 25. You got a 25.
Nice.
You look at Mo and you look at Eenie and Miney, and they're all, again, no longer the fun, happy, cheery faces that they were earlier. They have gone back to being. You've not seen them be like this before. This is just kind of resignation, almost, and they're kind of like emotionally trying to shut off here. And then continues on saying,
we appreciate that you think so highly of us enough to call you family and stuff, but we don't. We have our rangers, you know, and we have our guild, we have our connections, we have people that we care about, but we don't really do family.
It's not. Well, I think the dead gods come and came to OC very briefly. There they are, back at it again.
Hi, sorry, I completely, I missed the second half of what Mo said.
Don't worry, I stopped. What'd you last hear?
Sorry about that.
Good. What did you last hear, my dude?
That they don't really do something.
They don't really do family. And, Eenie and mine are gonna nod and say,
You know, we've got our connections with people, you know, we've got our rangers, we're getting our guild set up, and, you know, it's all going pretty damn well, you know, and, it's just that family isn't something we're made for. Yeah, no, it's,
kind of glance at each other and they look down.
we're not made to be someone's family. We're not out to be people's family.
We want to be, you know, someone people can admire.
We want to be heroes. We want to be famous adventurers recorded in history, and you can't do that alone, but
you can't.
And they all just kind of seem to helplessly be looking at each other.
TOC is just quietly listening, and they go, well, not all of my family uses labels, particularly, my friend Nebula. But for what it's worth, they consider, because this is not nearly as flattering as the other things that they had to say, whether or not you three would like to consider yourselves my family, I would like to be yours. Because the world is cruel to adventurers, to heroes. And I don't need anything more than you've done already. Except to know that you three are okay. That you're going to be okay. Nothing more than that.
Okay, I'm gonna start with Mo first because Mo is in the box with you. You see Mo's just, as you say, the world is cruel to heroes. Mo just kind of turns a beak away from you, pokes out the side of the box. And Eenie and Miney just nod. Eenie is now looking back over towards the dead god. They all speak to you as they say,
yeah, we know that world's rough. World can be real rough for people. That's why we're doing what we're doing, you know. That's why we're going out. That's why we're making our own guild. That's why we're finding like-minded people I want to help. And if you don't want to go out and fight villains and heroes, that's fine. Not everyone wants to do that, but it's still good to build connections with people and help them, even if they don't want to become someone to help others.
And, well, you're right, the world can be real cruel, but that's why we're here. We're here to make it less cruel, make it less unfair, give some people that wouldn't have a chance, give them a leg up.
An opportunity. Give them a reason to keep going, sort of thing. And if we do that for you, I mean, can't lie to you, mate, with family is, that word's not exactly a word we can toss about lightly.
But, if we do, give you that sort of keep fighting feeling, then, well, we're not going to turn it down,
And they're just, you can see they're all now kind of shifting uncomfortably a little bit. This is very emotional. I look at all my birds, all of them struggle with emotion. I don't know why.
Yeah, TFC is just like, this was honestly more than they were expecting. And they go, well, I certainly didn't climb a mountain into a snowstorm for my health. I'll say that much.
Yeah, you bloody well shouldn't have.
I mean, honestly, who goes down a mountain without help?
I mean, the only reason we went is because we had each other. It's someone to peek a lookout,
Someone to keep track of where we're going.
and someone to make sure that, we've got enough provisions, which isn't Eenie.
Never Eenie.
It's never me. Why is it never me? You know why it's bloody not you.
Exactly, mate. If you want us to go over it again, we're going to have to bury your head in the snow and leave you an ice block so you don't eat all the bloody food.
That's rather insulting. I think I've got a bit more self-control than that. You tried to eat a squirrel on the path. I wasn't trying to eat it. I was trying to throw it into the woods.
I think that looked a bit more like eating to me.
Its tail was sticking out of your mouth. It was a very fighty squirrel.
TFC is laughing, and they go, all of those things that you want to do for the world, I want you to have someone who's going to make sure that the three of you are okay, whether or not you need it.
They look at each other and they look a little confused. Mo looks less confused. There's a slight little click of understanding there, and he nods his head. Eenie and Miney look at each other confused, and they look back at you and say,
Appreciate the thought and everything, but again, to reiterate,
We have each other to make sure we don't, completely pecking bonkers.
we keep each other in check. Me and Mo make sure he doesn't stuff himself so full he rolled down the mountain and collects in a heap of full food, which is basically a buffet to any particular predator out there. I make sure that Miney's I make sure Mo doesn't get too full of himself.
I don't get full of myself.
Well, actually, you do tend to wander off. Yeah, mate, you do tend to, get your head stuck in the clouds sometimes. We got to keep you grounded, and, it happens sometimes. It's all right. Also, when we're on a scouting mission, you need to pay attention, Mo.
Yeah, well, I'll keep Marnie from getting his head too inflated.
Actually, I think that's both of us.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
What do you mean inflated? I have a regular, healthy amount of confidence in not just my abilities, but our abilities as a group.
Yeah, well, our abilities as a group tends to go to your ego.
So I think it's good that Mo and I keep that in check.
and Miney just shakes his head and is like,
The point we're trying to make here, DOC, is that we have each other. You have a lot of people from the sounds of it. You don't need to check in on us.
We're fine as we are.
It's not the first time we've gone off by ourselves, and it probably won't be the last. Yeah, we'll be fine as we are.
You have each other to make sure that you're okay. And you have me to make sure that you're okay after you've had a nasty encounter with someone that you call a friend.
look up at each other and they just kind of roll themselves and just say,
Well, if you're talking about Crystal, well, it's not a touchy subject. She said we wanted us gone, and I mean, we did kind of move ourselves in, and it was time for us to make a move on anyway. Staying in one place too long isn't exactly the best idea for rescue rangers. I mean, setting up a base is good, but I don't think Crystal wanted us to set our base up completely in her house, So it's only fair she asked us to move on and stuff, and whatever is going on with her family is her business. We're not her family either. So,
and they just shrug. Mo is just quiet. There's nothing.
May I have advantage because they know they're bullshit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. They are trying to keep it together. They're trying to show you that's a good wall of confidence they've got up. But even so, through Mo towards the other two, that's there is still like that twinge. They put on a brave face, but they are still a bit. What's the word? There's a slight tremble, very slight, almost unnoticeable, but holding it together. Fine.
Yeah, sure. The chicken sighs, and they go, "It's horrible to be hurt, but it happens."
And all three of them look at each other and they just kind of nod and like, yeah, of course you get hurt. I mean, sometimes you can get sliced up by a sword, or you can get shot by one of the darts that's full of poison that makes you jig, or sometimes gives you a terrible rash. Didn't know we were allergic to that particular strain of poison. We are going to make notes of that, by the way.
And sometimes you get hurt by other things, but
it's fine. We're tough. We're told you, we got each other. We're resilient. We can handle this. And Crystal needs time to sort out stuff with her family. It is what it is. And we'll be around. When she whether she wants us back, it's up to her. Until then, we'll just be around.
And they just try to make very much light of it, and brush it off.
God, TOC's just like, these fucking kids. I came up this mountain expecting a fight. Not from them, and they sort of nod towards the dead god, who, I think they, have put on, noise canceling earbuds so that they can't hear, what they're saying. They're just translating verbatim what TUC is saying. And they go, "From you. Because the three of you have been itching to spar. And you're not letting yourselves be angry at Crystal. At least not from what I see."
Eenie and Miney kind of glance at each other, and then very unsubtly glance down at Mo, who is dead quiet in the box. And
it's not that it's not that we're not.
And just kind of shift uncomfortably next to you. It's not that we're not.
We get that Crystal's kind of having a bit of a time at the minute, and we did accidentally maybe do something we shouldn't have, which we understand. Crystal's going to be upset by that, but
she kicked us out. We made a mistake and we said we were sorry, and she didn't care. So we went. We can't stay somewhere. We can't stay somewhere we're not wanted, Can't stay somewhere where someone wants us very clearly gone. So we left. And I told her exactly what I was thinking. Told her straight to her face. Whether she took it to heart or not, no.
And Mo kind of the weird head shrug in the box.
But know if she's going to want us back. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. Either way, it's up to her now, isn't it?
And Eenie and Miney are just looking away. Very, very much looking away.
She loves the three of you a lot.
You're gonna hear just a...
Doesn't matter, does it though? I mean, even if she does, I don't know if she does. I don't know, and right now I don't care. I haven't.
And let's roll insight. Mo's tired. Mo's really, really tired. Emotionally wrung out, you could say. All three of them are just, as they keep talking, you can see Eenie and Miney just kind of sag down and look away, and they ain't saying nothing. They're letting Mo talk now. They haven't got much to say.
It doesn't matter if she does or if she doesn't. You know, it doesn't matter. She's made her choice, so it's up to her. We give her room to do what she needs to do, and if she wants us back, if not, I don't know.
And Mo's just gotta go quiet. Shuffle his head a little further under the blankets, actually.
God, TFC just... these fucking kids. To be clear, I didn't come up here to drag the three of you back. Because you've done your best to take care of all of us. And you deserve a break.
This isn't about taking a break or anything like that. And if you were coming up here to take us back, why did you climb up here? I mean, it's one thing if you've got determination to bring us back down, but honestly, if you come up here to try and just check if we're okay, that's probably the stupidest thing I've heard come out of your mouth, quite frankly. And we've had some stupid things come from you, quite honestly. We've had some really stupid things come from you.
I'll remember that for later.
Well, you do think that you can kick us over a canyon or pin us into the ground and put us in our place, and yet you have yet to show us that you can do so. So honestly, you got a lot of lip or beak, and not a lot of action. Saying. And Miney's just shrug that off. And he's trying to hide a little smirk. He is not. He cannot.
I'm not going to fight you right now. Once you're feeling better.
We're not fighting. We're having a conversation. And you're bringing things
Say
up and
again?
we're responding.
I'm so sorry, I'm being incredibly petty right now. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, they understand the impulse. They would also like to use the fact that they're hot shit as like a coping mechanism. Honestly, I think that you've all earned a tantrum or two.
But you should... the word tantrum, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. They're gonna rear back, except for Mo, who's just like, tantrum?
We're not having a tantrum. Yeah, no, you know what? That is not what's going on here. We are not having a tantrum, alright? The one who's having a tantrum is Crystal. She went off, and we, as the adults, out of the two of us,
Four of us,
apologies, the four of us, we took the executive decision to leave before she decided to get any more aggressive and rude. So, we gave her space, which is a very adult thing to do. We are not throwing a tantrum. We're just giving her space, and we're giving ourselves some space, which is a very adult thing to do. Thank you very much. The
lifted up one of their claws from under their body and just waggling it in your direction, TOC.
No, I thought that was very mature of you. This is different, though.
Lean back like,
isn't it?
How's this different? How is, going on a bit of a break into the wilderness? We're rangers, we do that.
Tell me in plain language why you're angry at me.
They just kind of blink, look back at each other, and back at you. It's like,
We're angry.
Blink and look back at you. It's like,
Why we're angry at you? Well, we're not angry per se. We're a little bit irritated because you went off by yourself into a mountain with no one there to support you. And I mean, you're not a ranger. You don't know what you're doing up here. You didn't even do it to bring us back down. You just did it to check on us. And while we realise that your whole thing now is family and love,
and they just wave their claw in the air. That whole thing.
We're not kids, we're adults. We can do things by ourselves. We can look after ourselves. And I get you're also an adult. You're also a chicken, and you're not a ranger. So going up a mountain by yourselves is just dangerous and a little bit foolish, you know. Even we do again. We're going to just repeat ourselves over and over again until we stick it into your pecking head. We got each other. We're not alone. We always have each other. And you don't. You didn't bring anyone with you. You just went off into the cold up a mountain. It's because you cared, and I get that you care, but don't care to the point of death.
They just look at him.
They look back. They feel they've made that point very clear. I was playing enough.
Came up this mountain. Came up this mountain because you're worth climbing a mountain. Also because the mountain shouldn't fucking be here. I was promised hillocks. This doesn't look like hillocks.
I'm gonna roll a history for them. Do they remember that this is supposed to be hills and not mountain? Huh, I guess so. They kind of like open their beaks, lift up their one finger of their claw, and then just blink, blink, look at each other. And Mo's head kind of slowly raises from the box of Tupperware. There is a blanket over his head still, and looks at them. And they look back at the dead god. And they look outside at the snowstorm, which is starting to actually die down a little bit. They look back.
Huh. Now that you mention it, yes, actually, that is. We did go into the woods, didn't we?
Yeah, we went into the woods and then we went up the hillocks.
And then we took the shale, didn't we?
No, I thought we went down the. We got the slate.
No, we took the granite path. Ah, peck me, did we get. There better not be some fable. This better not be some weird fey path we've taken.
I swear, if we've gone down a fey path without realising it.
They just sigh.
Not supposed to be in the Feywilds. That is definitely not somewhere we should be.
Right, okay, I think if we're in the Feywilds, we need to get going, because, we really shouldn't be here then, should we, lads?
Right, okay, put the fire out, we're going.
And, TOC, unless you're gonna fight them, they're gonna pick up the Tupperware box, tuck it on their back, and, they're gonna start trying to, like. Actually, you know what? They're not even gonna bother kicking out the fire. They are gonna look over the dead god, who they had forgotten was here this pretty much the whole time, and see them just with their little earbuds in, and they're just gonna. He's gonna lean down right next to the dead god's ear, and he's just gonna shout,
Thank you for covering up your ears. We're going out now. You need to ride down the mountain.
No, thank you. I'll be fine.
You sure? There is room on our back.
And
they're gone.
He shouts in the other ear.
They've left. He's shouting at nothing now.
They blink and they look at each other, and Mo just says,
Fellas, don't know if that was a fey or not, but we should probably
get a move on. Yeah, alright, let's go.
Let's get on out. No, we're not dealing with fate. No. And they're just turning on that hill. marching out into the storm, which is again quieted down. Before they quickly turn back, run back in, pick up a twig from the fire, like, you know, it might be a good idea to have this.
Yeah, you know what? That's a smart idea.
For once, let's go. And they turn back around. Move down at TOC and say, you all right in there? Tucked in, comfortable, safe, warm?
TAC is just like, I will be fine.
They nod.
They will deal with the indignity just as once.
They look at each other. They nod. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll here. I'm trying to figure out what they would roll. It's gonna be an intelligence check. Okay.
I will say TAC is going to take off the first layer, which would be the leather vest that Cass made them. And they're going to turn it inside out because that's a way to undo being lost by Faye.
Nice. I rolled a 4 on their intelligence check. You see
Cool.
Miney reach into his ruff, rumble around, pull out a lid to the Tupperware box and just go to pop it gently on top. They don't close the lid over. They just pock it.
No,
you need to be warm.
That is the best way to keep warm.
I am very warm. I also need to breathe.
No. We're not going to close it over you. It's just,
keep most of the wind out,
You can still breathe in there. It's fine. It's just, so we can, not get the wind and they're just still trying to pop it on top.
You know what? Fine. Go ahead.
The lid is on top. You're a box chicken. You are in the Tupperware box. And
I imagine. Wait, hang on. I have to imagine they take 3 steps, and then either the lid blows off because it wasn't sealed, or it was sealed, and the dead god's just there again. Like, I just left.
They're not. They're putting it down over the top. They're not blocking it because again, they want to capture the chicken. They don't want to suffocate the chicken. So they put the lid on. They don't close the lid. Walk out into the storm, and then within 2 seconds, it's blown away. They don't notice. They just ruffle themselves up. Each look at each other, grin like, "All right, let's into the storm, down the ravine, and back into the actual normal place that we originally came from." And again, they call out, "TOC, you got any problems? Give us a shout."
"Don't worry, you won't slip off.
You're pretty far down in the layers there, so on we go." And they're gonna just head on.
Yes, give them a shout. That's definitely something they can do.
I call them out. It's 12. Well, it takes them a while. TOC, you are perfectly warm and safe. You are tucked down very deep into their layers of fluff. You can't see a whole lot. You can see like a slither of the sky and the wind and stuff around you. And it does take a good bit of time. You do notice the wind and the snow starts to die down, and you just hear the thump, thump, thump of Eenie, Miney and Mo running through the snow, making their way out. I don't actually know how to end this. I'm not gonna lie.
Can we say that they make camp again? Because there's another point that TAC is going to try to make.
Go ahead.
I probably towards sundown. They're back in normal territory. There's it's back to very, very early spring weather. So it's maybe a little bit of snow, but as long as they're safe about it, the being out in the wilderness overnight is not going to kill anyone.
I don't know, yeah. These guys are used to it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try and roll with advantage for this because they're used to this. Yeah, alright. Yep, they're fine. You guys get back fine. It takes a little while because again, you're in Villestown, so they take a little while to get through here, and you get the image of a map popping up off screen with the little dot and the M's feet just appearing as they make their way from somewhere on the map to Billstown. And POC, you are plonked on your garden rooftop. Now in normal weather, you're still in the box, you're still covered in blankets and stuff. And Eenie, Miney and Mo just kind of step back and nod their heads at you and say, well,
Thank you for checking on us, TOC. Kindly don't climb up any strange mountains or walk through any strange fey pathways again.
And, yeah, we'll leave you to it.
and they just salute with their finger. Unless you stop them, they're just going to leave. They stop.
Right. I don't need you to alert me every time we're going to go off into the wilderness. I trust the three of you.
As you should.
I don't want to be your family because I think either of us particularly needs the other. I want to be your family because I want to.
They look at each other and they just look back at you and they say, don't. Look, again, appreciate the thought, and it's not. We're not going to stop you from thinking or feeling what you think or feel.
It's
They're just gonna kind of sigh, just nod their heads.
You feel and think what you want. Yeah.
Just kind of do a little wordless. Don't know how to respond. Just.
I mean, we'll always be there if you need us. You know, we're not gonna abandon you lot or anything. Again, it's
You'll always be part of our. I mean, actually, have we given you a badge yet?
Have we actually given you a badge? Fellas, have we given him a badge?
I don't remember, actually. And they kind of look at you.
Have we given you a badge yet?
You gave me a badge. You didn't explain what it meant.
Right. And they just nod. And
right, well, you know, you ever need us, you think on that little badge there,
and they just think in the air,
and we'll show up as soon as we can.
And you know, well.
And they just lift one of their thumbs up.
Just a few to get inside. Say, so you went up a mountain, go inside, warm yourself up and stuff. I don't think it's a good idea for us to go in there if Monkey's around.
And they just kind of look for.
Last time we were on the rooftop, small tiny robot baby
Almost tried to start screaming at us quite a bit.
And we don't want to upset robot children. That seems very irresponsible. So
we're just gonna
head on out.
And they're gonna again salute at you, head on their hill, and I'm gonna roll an acrobatics to see how well they jump off of this thing.
Nice.
Nicely. They pedal backwards, jump off backwards, and you hear and they shoot across the other side of the rooftop from where they've fallen off. Basically they step back, fell backwards onto a washing line, which went down and then launched them, catapulted them over the top of the rooftop you were on the other side where they stepped off. And now they're stopping onto another one and binging off of that and binging off of that as they take their way out of town.
I think our last shot is TFC watching them go and their expression melting with worry that they weren't necessarily showing in front of them. And a voice next to them goes, "The kind one has a secret. Watch him." And they look at the dead god and they go, "No shit, Sherlock." And they head inside.
And we can end it there, I guess. Thank you everyone for listening live. Thank you everyone for listening in the future. It was a time. It took a little while for me to get your chicken in the damn snow, but it happened.
They're just too strong. She's too strong.
Hard to kill. Chicken strong, hard to kill. It's the best flavor when they are tough. anyway, this is me signing off. Would you like to say any last words, Author?
No, I think I've said my piece.
All right.
Thank you all for listening, folks.